What's going on, everyone? Lawrence from financialthing.com back with the Thursday evening live stream. Hope everybody is doing well. Don't forget, 2 streams a week now, one on Tuesday evening at 7:30 p.m. UK, 2:30 p.m. US Eastern Time, and every Thursday, of course. Tonight, very much peer-to-peer lending focused. We are going to take a little look at the markets and what's going on. Obviously, big geo-political, economic news going on. And of course, I was wrong about Mr. P going into the Ukraine. I honestly didn't think that was going to happen, but it just goes to show everybody is wrong sometimes. Of course, me being wrong more times probably than I am right. But anyway, Peter, no, I'm not deliberately starting the stream 2 minutes late. I was a little bit late getting into the office space today, so my apologies, but definitely not deliberately late. It's always been one of my character defects, is trying to be on time more, but it doesn't always happen. Anyway, we are going to be talking again peer-to-peer lending tonight, going through some of the news. We're going to be taking a look at the Relendex platform, also what's going on with LoanPad, and we're going to take a look at Kuflink, some of the funding secure loans that have recently seen collections on being sold off, and we're going to take a quick look at the trading 212 portfolio. I figured I'd wake up this morning and see things were a lot worse than what I thought they were going to be, but fortunately it hasn't all been that bad in the stock markets today. But if you can go ahead and leave that thumbs up for me, I very much appreciate it. Helps with the YouTube algorithm. I don't have to nag you about it anymore. Let's see who's in the stream today. We got Paul in Stockport, Aki Chap, of course, in snowy, windy Accrington. I like the little emojis there. Nice touch, Mr. Aki. Peter Vince, of course, in Leatherhead. Paul Bagworth in Kenilworth. Michael Shore in Battle. Battle. Where is that? Battle. Tell me where that is. I'm not sure where Battle is. I think it's maybe near Hastings. But maybe that's just because I think of the Battle of Hastings, which is probably completely incorrect. See Paul Bagworth, Colin Perry in the Peak District, John Dane, Nottingham, ES, 2 hours every week now. Yes, of me nastering on, that is right. ES, Alan Stratford in Worcestershire, Alan Toombs in Basingstoke, Mr. Brian in Woburn, and Chimpo Naughty Darren, I think maybe in Cambridge. Mark Mason in Greece. Mark, did you relocate, or is that a holiday for you? Not a bad place to be. Dave Dawson is here. Double D, the dividend specialist. So again, thanks to everybody who continues to join and support. Thank you to everyone who joined the Patreon. Much appreciate every single one of you for that support. Just move the chat down a little bit. As we continue to provide information about our very little homely sector of peer-to-peer lending. We're going to talk a little bit about, yes, crypto markets getting punched in the gut today, as well as the stock market, but crypto making a bit of a bounce back. So I was surprised. Hi, Invest 22. Welcome to the stream. So we had a lot of information to get to tonight. So let's just bang on. Get through it, see where we are. If you haven't visited the website in a while, financialthing.com, look at that. All those graphics, beautiful. Twino, the Euro peer-to-peer lending platform, we zoom in this, creates a task force to manage Russia loans. Of course, we know what's going on with that situation over there. Some of the European peer-to-peer lending companies very much probably nervous about the loans that they have issued through their platform. Mintos being another company that is paying close attention to that situation and managing their Russian based loans that are put on the platform through third parties. So Twino has created a internal task group to monitor loans with exposure to Russia as the conflict intensifies. In a note to investors, the Latvia-based lender said that it was in constant contact with its Russian staff members and made it clear that it is opposed to any military action. It confirmed that Russian loans currently make up approximately 20% of its loan book, and they have activated additional measures to additional measures of its Russian loan originators risk policy, which has resulted in limiting issuances in some regions and to riskier customer groups. And I think, this is a very, very good example of what's going on in the Ukraine right now, with the risk that some of these Euro peer-to-peer lending platforms have geographically basing their loans in different countries, because some countries are not always as stable as you might think. I was surprised by the Ukrainian situation because they have been pretty stable, and I can't see much advantage to what Mr. P has done. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. So Twino is trying to manage that the best they can. I'm sure they're going to see some fallout of those loans. Mintos also, or Mintos. Anybody know how you're supposed to exactly pronounce that? Maybe it's like the Mintos. But they have removed Russian and the Ukrainian loans from their platform. So the Russian and Ukrainian lending companies that put their loans, Mintos, by the way, is just an aggregator of loans. They don't actually issue the loans themselves. They just let lending companies put their loans on the platform. So they have decided to remove Russia and Ukrainian loans completely. I don't know how they handle current loans that are already been issued through those companies. There's a lot of instability, a lot of questions there. And it says investors can still buy and sell loans right here from Russia and Ukraine on the platform secondary market. So if you're out there in Europe and you are a Mintos investor, you can still buy those loans. Not sure why you'd want to still do that. It seems like that would be a very, very strange decision, but you can if you still want. Let's see here. At least 16 billion quid lost to COVID loan fraud and error. UK tax bill payers face at least 15.7 billion losses as a result of fraud and error within the COVID-19 support schemes, which is likely to cost more than 20 billion pounds. The committee has found that the Treasury does not yet know exactly how much money has been lost to fraud and error across COVID loan schemes, and has called for more clarity from the government. The Office for Budget Responsibility estimated in October that 21.17 billion was expected to be written off from the government support schemes, including the bounce back loan systems. This is crazy to me. If you need an example of how useless the powers that be are, I think this is a perfect example. They've just handed away billions of pounds to companies who probably had no intention of ever paying it back. And, guess who gets to foot that bill? You and I. Again, I hate to hammer about how I feel like the government's just, they just don't know what they're doing when it comes to monetary policy. I think this is just a great example. So what the government has done is given all these third-party companies the ability to write these loans, these bounce-back loans, and, these are funded by the government, protected by the government, so the losses are going to fall on the government's shoulder, and now we're having this complete, backlash of fraud and errors and all these different issues, and now we have to pay for these mistakes that have been made. Very unfortunate. Totally not unexpected, because I think a lot of people knew this was going to happen. But, it is what it is, so that's what's going on. Date set for the trial of collateral directors. You can see here the Curry brothers, Peter and Andrew, appeared at South Walk Crown Court earlier today following action taken by the FCA. If you don't know, the Curry brothers are the directors of the fallen peer-to-peer lending platform Collateral. These guys are now being accused of fraud and are going to be facing court for criminal action. Unfortunately, not until April the 11th, 2023. So they're going to have over a year to prepare for that case or run, whatever they decide to do. They are remaining on unconditional bail. So, but they did appear in court today. So hopefully justice will be served for whatever they have done. If they have done anything, it will come out hopefully in court. We don't know. I don't like to pass judgment on people, but obviously a lot of things going on in the background of that case that we probably are not privy to. So, maybe by the end of middle of 2023, we will know exactly what is going on with that case. And I fully expect that nobody will get any money back from that. As tends to happen in these criminal cases. The money is probably long gone. He does look kind of like a trusty character, though. I mean, don't you agree? Does that look like the face of a guilty man? Does it? I don't know. You tell me. I'm not entirely sure. Continuing on, Zopa is debuting a hybrid savings account for younger users, which allows funds to be held in multiple saving pots at the same time. The mobile-only saver account pays up to 1%. 1%. You can get 1%. Thanks, Zoba. If you choose to lock your money up for a 3-month and 5-day notice, and you can get a whopping 0.72% for an instant access account. Listen, if you're holding money right now in cash, it's just senseless. It really is. Inflation is killing you, and you're not getting any money in the bank, so invest it. Even put it in gold. It's probably better. Bondora sees a rise in recoveries for 5th consecutive months. They have recovered 920,000 euros, 770,000 pounds in January to mark the 5th consecutive month that the number of loans recovered rose. The European P2P lending platform achieves a 7.66% increase in cash recoveries from December to January. So they are going after the money. What else we got here? The best peer-to-peer lending platforms for your IFISA, the highest rates. Let's see if there's any information on here that you even want to know about. I don't see anything on that. Oh, incidentally, I was going to log in. I got logged out. I want to show you my Mintos account, which, as you know, if you're a UK investor, you cannot invest in loans in Mintos anymore. Let me try to log in here. And I was going to show you what's going on in my account. Mintos, I was very, very happy with Mintos at the beginning. And I think what happened with Mintos is kind of what happens with a lot of peer-to-peer lending companies. It all starts out well and good. But then, inevitably, what you see happening is this right here. In recovery, 226 euros, 75 euro pennies are now in recovery. And they all appear to be in one single company. Now, what I was doing, I used to do my own manual investing, and at the end I just didn't have enough time, so I set it on an auto invest just to free up some time. And then this is inevitably what happens when you sometimes use auto invest, especially through a company like Mintos that has hundreds of thousands of loans. This company, GetBucks in Zambia, is now responsible for all of these euros that are now in recovery. So not a great result. Good thing is here we've received already 465 euros in interest through this account. So if for some reason this 226 euros in recovery is never realized, then I guess this will just be halved, and instead of a net annual return of 12%, which everybody is always saying, well, Minto, I should probably share my screen here. Everybody's always saying, well, Mintos is great because you can get such a high interest return. Yes, of course it comes with risk. And if you really want to do well with Mintos, you really need to research the loans manually, research the companies that are issuing the loans so you don't end up in a company like GetBucks like I did, because I didn't have enough time to really study the individual loans anymore, and I just thought, oh, I'll put it on an auto invest. So that was my mistake. But it says in recovery, but over here it doesn't really. I don't know what the. Let's see if there are any updates. Recovered and charged amounts. Let's see what we got. Oh Lord, it's gonna be a long spreadsheet. I'm not gonna go through all of that, but yeah. So not great news in the Mintos account, but I wanted to show you that, be transparent, because that's what I do through good and bad. Let's see what else we got here. Hargreaves Lansdown highlights £4 trillion of wealth opportunity for investment providers. Basically, they're saying there's going to be a lot of money out there for people to put money, hopefully to invest it through them in the stock market. Again, financial companies, they want your cash, so they're going to put out stories like that. And it's true. I think a lot of people are going to be scared of what's going on, with this whole conflict right now. And you may see somewhat of a big impact on the stock markets for, how long we don't know, because people have short memories, but it really depends on the media. If the media keeps pushing this war narrative and shows all these negative stories every day, if you go to CNN right now, which I really don't like to look at, but this front page right here, Putin unleashes war on the Ukraine, obviously the main headline, depending on how long these narratives are pushed in the media, is going to have a big effect on the stock markets. Obviously, that's just the way it goes. I was going to look at the markets and see where they are. Look at this the Russian market right here was down. This is the Russian index, MOEX, 33.28% in one day. Absolutely getting killed, obviously. But you can see here, what's very, very interesting, the S&P 500 is now in the green, which was, I think, in 2% in the red earlier. And then Dow only 0.8% in the red, the NASDAQ 1.91%. I don't know what the FTSE. See, gold is up a little bit. I know oil is up big time. Let's see what the FTSE 100 is doing. I would imagine it would be in the red. Yeah, 3.8% in the red. What you'll see tomorrow is that probably will go into the green as it rebounds. But the markets have rebounded. That means people are buying the dips and they're not getting as afraid as I thought they were going to be. I really thought this announcement this morning was going to send people heading for the exits in the stock market. So it just goes to show you the resilience of how the markets are being propped up right now. And very, 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 very surprising what's going on. Let me see if there's any other interesting news here. Don't know what this is. The peer-to-peer lender called Income has completed its latest crowdfund raising of 844,000 euros. Estonia-based, more Estonian-based platform launching a CEDAS campaign. It's interesting. They seem to be really thriving. These, Eastern European peer-to-peer lending companies. So I hope it all goes well for them. Blend Network has attracted £10 million of investment to boost origination team, so they're looking to expand, and they have managed to raise another 10 mil. So Blend going from strength to strength. Let me close this. Oh, this is way too big. This is an interesting story. Lending administrator, permit ex-director Lendy administrators have permitted ex-director of Lendy to sell a property. The High Court has altered a worldwide freezing injunction to now allow an ex-Lendy director to sell property. According to the court papers filed, Tim Gordon, 42, of Chichester, has been granted permission from the court to vary a worldwide freezing injunction imposed on him and others in June 2020. He wants to sell a piece of property for £255,000 in Cosham, and the paperwork said the net sales of the proceeds can be used for legal advice and representation. So, just a guess, I'm imagining that he needs cash to for some kind of legal advice and representation through the administration. What's going on with Lendy? Maybe there's some dubious things going on there with the Marshall Islands situation. So the court has allowed him to sell that property in order to raise those funds. Pretty interesting. If you have comments, put them in the chat. We'll do a quick comment, read through at the end if you have anything interesting to see. What else? Oh, Assets Exchange. I know some of you are investors through Assets Exchange. They are having a webinar to find out more information about that platform. You can register. I'll leave the link in the description below when I'm done with the stream. That is Tuesday, March the 1st, 12 to 12:45 p.m. And it's going to be to find out how Assets works with partners to purchase and lease properties to provide supported houses for individuals with learning disabilities and autism. Get details of the pipeline of over 12 new properties to be leased to Golden Lane Housing and launched in March to April, and ask questions, find out. A lot of people are asking me, where can I put money? Looks like Assets Exchange is going to be offering a lot more loans coming up, so you can register for their webinar. I actually like Peter Reed over at Assets Exchange and what he's doing over there. Now, what else? Oh, before I forget, let's do a quick LoanPad update. See where we are. It's a bit of news with them. Let me log in here. Come on, live data feed. There we go. Okay. We can see now that the total loan value of £106.2 million, total LoanPad loans, is now up to £52.8 million. And average loan to value is still really good, 40%. Now 132 loans on the loan book, £400,561 average loan size. And we're still less than a day if you need to liquidate for some reason, which is always a good thing to see, liquidity. Now, as you'll notice here, that LoanPad has increased to 9 lending partners. And what I can tell you is I can tell you who that 9th lending partner is. Let me pull up my text from Louis. The 9th lending partner through LoanPad is called Bridge Park, BRIDGEPARK. Louis said, very experienced property guys who have formed their own lending business. We will partner with them on selected loans. So I'm going to try to find out who exactly these guys are at Bridge Park, because there really isn't much information as far as I could tell. You know what? Maybe we'll Google it. Let's have a Google of Bridge Park. See what we come up with. The Bridge Park Hotel, B&B with 2.5 stars. That's probably not the one. Bridge Park Limited. Maybe this is them. Let's see. People. Mike Gutwirth in London. Director Jacob Adler. I don't know again if this is the right company. But maybe there's some information on the directors. If you want to go to company's house and look them up, you can if you're interested in that kind of thing. I don't know. I don't want to bore you with this stuff, but anyway, there is the name. It's Bridge Park. If you want to do some research on that ninth lender, or maybe Mike Powell knows something about them. But that's what I got for you on that. Let's go back to LoanPad, see if there's any other interesting. You can see the ICF, the interest coverage fund, is at 0. As far as nothing is being used out of the £42,322 that is sitting in the account in the case that is needed for to pay loan payments if one of them goes into default. So it looks like everything is doing pretty well at the moment. Let's see if there's any other issues with the loans. Let's see what we got here. Extended, no ICF, extended. Anything in default? Nothing in default. Nothing in the ICF. So all the loans look really good at the moment, which is excellent news. Let's see what else. Let's go to Kuflink. Log in here. Now, when I logged into Kuflink a couple hours ago, there was quite a lot of stuff on the marketplace for sale, but now it appears to be gone. So maybe you're able to snag some things on the secondary marketplace. Now, absolutely nothing available. So things do come up from time to time. Let's have a look at what's on the self-select list. Wow, look at this place. Yeah, if you are looking to deploy money, there's £89,738 available on this big house. And some other new developments here. You can see Westfield Lane, Waterloo Road, land. Not a big fan of land myself. Prefer to put it into something that's either underbuilt or is already, a house like this. But yeah, there are a couple of opportunities there if you want to go into Kuflink. Now, Relendex, this is a company that has reached out to me a few times and wanted to go into their back end and see what they had available. They, of course, are a peer-to-peer lending company. They've got a loan book now which is live about £28 million, £54 million repaid. In recovery, 2.6 million. So that is quite a high number, isn't it? You talk about what, 10% in recovery. Crystallized losses of 462,000 out of 86 million funded, so not too bad. Pretty low. Current average loan to value 54.37%. Of course, these are a bridging and development property peer-to-peer lender. Nothing really big as far as their loans here. They seem to be reasonable. 210,000, 130,000. You can get interest rates 6.25%, 10.25%, depending on the risk that you want to take. See if they have anything that you can actually log in here and invest in at the moment. See here. Auctions marketplace. So here's one. Nothing coming soon. A lot of completed auctions. So I feel like this is going to be another one of these platforms where things are getting snapped up pretty quickly just because of the small amount of the loans. You can see 205,000 loan, 105,000 loan. These things are going to get snapped up pretty fast. There's one for 606,000. It's quite a bit bigger, but pretty reasonable size loans. But there is one here coming up. This is an A+ risk, 6.5% interest, a Relendex Select Portfolio, senior ranking, stage 4 development. Prior stage of 1.448 million with an ultimate senior loan of 1.8 million. So this is quite a big one. I would imagine some of those other loans we looked at were maybe tranches too, so when you add up everything, it'd be quite a lot. But this one has got Let's see here, how much time left. So you got 70.45% has been funded already. So if you're looking for some opportunities, Relendex has this loan available. Again, I'm not saying that I recommend this platform. It's personally not one that I've really deep dived into that much. I did want to have a look at their about page and see who's running it. See, I mean, these guys, they look pretty smart. This Max, Michael, Paul, see what they are up to. Paul is joined senior management team, having been a significant lender on our platform. So this was a guy who invested through the platform and then joined. He was a working CFO and a backer of startup businesses. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Max Lorraine, the managing director. He has 30 years of experience in the retail financial services industry. I don't see any property experience. Michael Lynn, do you have any property experience? No, he's a qualified chartered accountant. Nancy Shell, CIO. 39 years industry experience, was head of real estate debt at UBS in the asset management division. So Anthony has, looks like, some property experience. And then we have the sales team. Doesn't really give you any information about these guys. This is one thing I look at when I'm kind of delving into peer-to-peer platforms, is do the directors have any actual property development experience? Because, you know, some of these peer-to-peer lending companies owners don't. You know, they have financial backgrounds and lending backgrounds, but sometimes not always in property, and sometimes they just have a lot of experience in accountants and being as accountants or tech people. So I don't know Martin Murphy, what his experience. Oh, here we go. We can click on that. Specialist property finance banker with over 20 years experience at UK financial institutions. He has held underwriting and deal origination roles with Barclays nationwide and NM Rothschild. That's a mouthful. And Anglo-Irish Bank. So there you go. That guy has experience. This guy, Simon, there's no information about him. Jordan, none. And Aaron De Silva, none. But so we'd be relying on Martin Murphy to make sure that those loans are good. So Relendex is an option if you are looking to deploy money. But again, I have not deep dived into the platform at all. Anyway, if you're enjoying the stream so far, finding the information helpful, hit that thumbs up button for me if you can. We'll continue. Let's see. No, that's not. Okay. There's a couple of loans I got in my inbox today that were sold for recovery amounts. This one had said to have an estimated value between 1 and 1.2 million should the project be completed. The property was about 85% built. You can see right here, we don't really have any photos as far as I know. Let's check out the pictures. There's a nice Ferrari outside, but I don't think that's the actual real picture of the house. Looks like computer generated. So this was a loan amount of $830,000. I think it was actually more. Yes, look at this. The site was reassessed for a gross development value of £3 million with a current value of 1.5 million on a residual value basis. So the folks at Funding Secure decided they would go ahead and give the borrower even more money, and they gave him 1.4 million pounds to cover the costs of building and roll up of interest of 6 months. So what was the outcome of this troubled loan? They managed to sell this property for £1 million, and they realized £871,000 after all these expenses were taken out. £101,000 in expenses sucked away by legal receivers. CG administrators got themselves 26,900. Don't know what Funding Secure got. But if you work that out as a percentage from what they lent to what was received, it was a 37.76% loss on that loan, which is certainly not as bad as some of the other peer-to-peer lending loans that have gone into default. So what I'm taking from this is that you would receive 37% less than what you put in. You're certainly not going to get any interest back, so you're going to lose some money on your capital if you're an investor like I was in that loan. But welcome to Funding Secure. And we have another one. This was a complete debacle. These Italian library books. This is a recovery amount of £180,000 less the fees, which turned out to be £109,713 was actually the net recovery amounts. Look at this. Constantine Storage. So the storage of these books, £48,000 owed. And then the valuers, ITC, I don't know what ITC is. Maybe somebody else knows, but they got £10,800 and only 109 grand on these library books. So what happened on this loan? Look at these charges. Let me zoom in so you can see how bad this was. First charge, $525,000. Second charge, $375,000. Third charge, $325,000. So, that's I'm not even going to try to total that up in my head, but way over 1.31. Oh, here we go. Total amount loan, 1.25 million. Based on a more complete examination of the individual Italian books by a second independent valuer, we've received a revised value of £5 million. Get your head around that. So when the original loan was issued, the books had been assessed an overall value of £3 million. So they got a second valuation, Funding Secure, on these books, and then decided to put this revised valuation of £5 million. Now, what that says to me is that they wanted to put up this information to make you feel better about plunking more money into these Italian books. I'm actually really surprised. I hadn't forgotten I even put any money into this loan because it seems so ridiculous looking back. I put a small amount in because I kept seeing this loan renewing a few years ago. Obviously a mistake on my end. Well, I wasn't paying much attention. It was a small amount of money I put in. But could you say there's been some negligence there and really some false narrative of Funding Secure putting up numbers on there of 5 million to make people feel really comfortable in the fact that only 1.2 million have been lent out? This turned out to be a really bad loan in general. So I think hey, look, Mr. Powell also just suggested that the collection had already been plundered and the items of real value had been retained and not provided as part of the pledge. Is that the Mr. Powell who's on the stream in the chat? Is that you, Mike Powell? Let's see. He was Rupert Powell. No, Rupert Powell's a Forum Auction, specializes in auctioning antiquarian books. So, long story short, this was probably one of the worst loans that we've seen, probably in the peer-to-peer history. 1.2 million, so less than 10% recovered. Interestingly, the borrower is now bankrupt. Yeah, okay. So what happened to the borrower exactly? I would really like to sort of dive into that and see that you gave somebody 1.2 million pounds in cash, lent against these books were not worth anywhere near that, and then the borrower went bankrupt. So he's probably on an island in the Caribbean right now, sunning it up on peer-to-peer lending riches that he's managed to score himself. I think this is a really great warning to, when you see a loan that keeps on renewing as this one did. I God knows how many times it was renewed. It must have been renewed 6 or 12 times. But if you see something like that going on and it's against something that is probably questionable value-wise, be very, very wary about that. Probably not a loan that you want to invest in. I wish I'd listened to my own advice years ago when I was more inexperienced, but that's just the way it is. Buyer beware of that. Let's take a quick look at what's going on in Trading 212 today. I woke up And I thought this portfolio was going to be decimated. And actually, very strangely enough, it was not. The account value still is hovering at 15,400 pounds. I don't really know why. Well, I do know why it's not lower than that. It's because we had some gold and we got a lot of oil and commodities, which if you've seen oil price per barrel has gone over $100, which we said months ago was going to happen. That was the kind of the prediction. Could be up to 120. Looking at the portfolio, I was surprised that Lloyd's got really smacked. 10%, I don't know if they had earnings today, I haven't looked at it, but yeah, 10.79% down. So we're about 17% down from probably a week ago. Tullow has rebounded a little bit, 4% today. Palantir up 11% today finally. And you might notice I decided to get rid of the Alibaba for right or for wrong. That just trade really didn't go down very well. And I could see Alibaba now going lower, probably dipping under 100 US. So maybe something that I'll rebuy back into, but decided to take the tax loss on that. I think it was 230 pounds. I really don't like to sell at a loss, but what I was seeing in the stock market this morning, I kind of felt like the markets were just going to keep on going lower. Today might be a kind of a pink fluffy cloud, some hopium. But you can see here the result of that was minus 236 pounds on the Alibaba trade, so not my best work. But I wouldn't be surprised if we wake up tomorrow and we see the markets absolutely get pummeled tomorrow, as we've seen with cryptocurrency today also. But see what's going on in the Russian markets. You can see everything just absolutely getting crushed. The Russia index down 33%. The IMOX 2 down 23%. The RTS index down minus 39%. Look at this, oil and gas down 31%. So really a shame what's going on over there. Nobody wins, with a conflict like this. I was completely wrong. I really didn't think that Mr. P was going to go in there. It didn't make any sense. In fact, it still doesn't make any sense. I don't, other than the fact that Mr. P is probably wants his ego to take over, and maybe this is his legacy, being of his age, and what he wants to leave behind is maybe a reformation of the old USSR. Unfortunately, a lot of people are going to get hurt because of this conflict. Maybe it'll make Europe less reliant on Russia's gas supplying and much reliance on Russia's oil. Hopefully some sanctions will go into place. I was looking at the Parliament meeting earlier, and they were saying sanctions are going to be put into place, and that the UK only relied on about 3% of Russia's gas supply. So I don't know why. I think BP owns a pretty good percent of Russia's biggest oil company, so that's not good. So hopefully some of that stuff will begin to change, and let's pray that the Ukrainians, come out of this okay. It's pretty sad. It's sad for the people that live there that they have to go through this. Sad for the people in the Russian army, who I understand they got very young people fighting that conflict. So very bad for everybody all around. And it's a shame that we still have things like this going on in 2022, but it is what it is, and it's going to affect the markets negatively. It's going to affect everybody involved. So let's pray that that is over quickly. And yeah, that's what I got for you this evening. Mark Mason says in Greece for business, not a bad place. Good evening, Robert Pates. I know you're in Greece too. Maybe you could buy Mark Mason a plate of Savaki, maybe a glass of Ouzo number 12. Talk about CBILS loans. One guy in Birmingham registered 6 new companies that had 300,000 in his bank account. 4 days later, the money has now disappeared. Oh, what a surprise. We didn't think that was going to happen. Because the government is really, really good at money. Yeah. Annabelle Nyron is here. Nice to see you. Yeah, the guy in the picture does look... He does look surprised, doesn't he? Let me show you that picture again. I think it's pretty funny. He looks like, oh my God, you got my picture. Don't talk about collateral. Let's see. He's got himself a nice polo jacket, so obviously he's not doing too badly for himself. Looks like maybe the worry of having a fraud case on his hands may have got to him. He's got some lines in his forehead here, some puffiness around the eyes. Usually a good indication of worry. Looks like he could use a little bit of exercise. Mr. Curry, I hope you get to return the money to the collateral investors as you should, instead of pocketing it for yourself if you did do that. But no allegations here, because we don't know what really happened. How much is being paid on our war bonds? I don't know. It's a good question. Probably not much. Gail, do you think Motley Fool tips are good to follow? The problem with Motley Fool is that if you go and look at their tip page, they've got probably over 100 stocks. So some of them do bad, some of them do good. How are you going to know which one to pick? So I personally didn't find it particularly helpful. I got a couple of winners. I got a couple of losers when I used them. Yeah, as Dave said, you could use them as a starting point. I think there is, if you're not experienced, you don't have a lot of time to study stocks, you're just better off in a tracker. Just my opinion. There's going to be a lot of upset Russian investors. Yes, there is. Alan says the only tip needed for S&S investing: put funds in a global index tracker and look back in 10 years. That's great advice. Kuflink getting a bit annoying sending out emails daily and not putting main info in of each investment in an email, but did invest in that Kirkman Road one earlier this evening. Patty is here. Nice to see you, Patty. Thanks for joining the stream. Hope you're enjoying it. Don't forget, Tuesday we talk about stocks. We talk about cryptocurrency. 7:30 p.m. You shouldn't miss it. You really shouldn't. If I were you and I was not doing this stream, I would be in front of my computer at 7:30 watching this YouTube stream. That's just me, though. It's a pity that all closing peer-to-peer lending companies can't match the efficiency of LC's wind down. Wonder who you mean. Who is LC? Lending Club, maybe? I don't know who LC is. CL. Oh, CL. Who's CL? Collective Lending? He does have a nice 10. Anyway, are we under an hour? We did it. This is the first time ever. 54 minutes and 30 seconds. We're going to shut it down because I think I've yapped along enough. Again, thank you. Hit that thumbs up before you leave. If you missed some of the stream, you could watch it. This is going to get archived. I hope you have a great weekend. I'm going to get out of here and go take the dog for a walk because, not to make you upset, but it's about a balmy 27 degrees here, and it's sunny. I'll be back in London in a couple of months, 3 months, something like that. Hopefully going to get... Oh, and One other announcement, Shojin Property Partners is going to be coming on the stream, I think, in the second week of March, if not the third week, so that'll be good. And we're going to have other guests lined up. We're going to be doing hopefully a guest who runs a crypto staking company, one of the companies I actually stake through. He is hopefully going to be on the stream too. So we're going to get information about how you can stake your cryptocurrency and make some APR returns. Anyway, I will catch you next time. Have a great weekend. We're going to go out with a little bit of music tonight. Who should we do? Who should we do tonight? Let's do... This is Mucka music called Synthetic Pleasure. And have a great evening, everybody. I really appreciate you being here. Love to every single one of you.